Not everything we call a legend is far from reality. Behind stories whispered around campfires, hidden among forest trees, beneath the weight of the ocean, and in the shadows of time, dwell creatures that defy logic and resist scientific explanation. Many of them emerge from real accounts, from unexplained sounds, and from fossil remains that force us to question what we truly know about the world. Welcome to Creatures Mysteries, the channel where legends find a voice, forgotten beings return from the shadows, and ancient mysteries challenge everything you believe to be real. From legendary monsters to beings science still refuses to accept, here logic is put to the test, and the impossible is only the beginning. I am Uncle Danny, your guide on this journey into the unknown. If you feel there is more between heaven and earth than what we've been told, then subscribe now, hit the bell, and prepare to dive into chilling accounts, dark investigations, and secrets that stretch across centuries. And before we begin, leave a comment below telling me from which city you are watching. I want to know how far this mystery has traveled. Step into the unknown. Discover the impossible. Live the mystery. The werewolf is without a doubt one of the most intriguing figures in global folklore, a human capable of transforming into a beast on nights of the full moon. They say the body stretches, fur sprouts everywhere, and the eyes burn like torches in the dark. Though not entirely devoid of reason, they are driven by primal instincts. Stories speak of midnight howls, claws scraping wood, and footprints vanishing in the mud. Some legends claim the curse of the werewolf is passed on through a bite, like a disease. King Lycaon of ancient Greece is said to have been transformed into a wolf for defying the gods. In the Middle Ages, fear of werewolves created mass hysteria. Hundreds were accused and executed, particularly in France and Germany, for alleged crimes committed in wolf form. Many claimed they had no memory of what happened on those nights. They would awaken covered in mud and blood, unable to explain it. Modern science does not recognize the werewolf as real, but there is a rare disorder, clinical lycanthropy. People deeply believe they have transformed into beasts. The mind, it seems, can be as powerful as any legend. Perhaps it is not only about monsters out there, but about the monsters within us, the ones that awaken in dark nights, when no one is watching. Between the corners of old internet forums and mysterious recordings of the deep sea, the myth of the giant mutant whale was born. A colossal creature, larger than any blue whale ever documented. The sound that revealed its existence, known as Julia, was captured in 1997, and to this day, no one knows what it was. The sound lasted more than 15 seconds, recorded by hydrophones spread over 3,000 kilometers. It was powerful, deep, and impossible to have been produced by any known marine animal. Its point of origin? Near the remote Antarctic plateau. Some scientists speculate about radiation-induced mutations, others suggest isolated evolution in the abyss. Perhaps the result of pollution, or maybe a species that never surfaced. Could this have been the first sign of something hidden for millions of years? The most terrifying part is that similar sounds continue to be detected even today. Long, sinister noises, echoing like the moans of something colossal and alive. Yet no one has ever seen what produces them. The ocean is Earth's greatest mystery. More than 80 of its waters remain unexplored. Perhaps this mutant whale is not just a theory but a warning. Have you ever heard of giants with a single eye? Cyclopes are known in Greek mythology as brutal, primitive monsters. Polyphemus, the most famous, was confronted by Odysseus and devoured humans in forgotten caves. But what if the origin of Cyclopes lies in paleontology? Scientists discovered skulls of dwarf elephants on Mediterranean islands, with a massive nasal cavity right in the center. To ancient peoples, it resembled an enormous eye socket. Legends began to rise in places where these fossils were found: Crete, Sicily, Malta. From there, the myth spread, mixing with religion, fear, and scientific ignorance. In other versions, the Cyclopes were forgers of Zeus' thunderbolts, children of Gaia and Uranus. They were not irrational monsters, but guardians of cosmic powers. Where did the shift in image come from? Perhaps from the way society viewed those who were different. Do Cyclopes exist? Not exactly. But the skulls are real and they show how a single bone can ignite the flame of a legend that has endured for millennia. Vasuki is a mythological serpent from India, so enormous that the gods themselves used it as a rope to churn the cosmic ocean. Just a legend? Maybe. But in 2023, something astonishing was unearthed. Fossils of a giant marine reptile, nearly 40 feet long, were discovered in Gujarat. A creature serpent-like in appearance, yet with predatory features never seen before. It was named Vasuki indicus. This predator lived around 100 million years ago, when India was covered by tropical seas. It may have been a type of mosasaur or perhaps an entirely new species. The connection with the ancient myth was immediate. For generations, locals had told stories of massive snakes in hidden caves. Places avoided out of fear. Legends ignored until science stumbled upon something real. Sometimes, myths are not merely imagination. They are echoes of ancestral memory, written into stone by nature itself. Across the cold winds of Ireland and its mist-covered hills lives a figure steeped in terror and mourning, the Banshee. Her scream does not kill, but it foretells death's arrival. A warning no one wishes to hear. The Banshee appears in many forms: a young woman with silver hair, or an old, hunched crone with lifeless eyes. She does not knock on doors. She simply appears, circling the houses where tragedy is about to strike. Since the 13th century, Irish families have said that each lineage has its own banshee, a spirit who accompanies its descendants until their final breath. Sometimes her voice is like the wind, other times it is a piercing cry that cuts straight into the soul. Though often dismissed as legend, reports still persist in rural villages today. People claim to hear unexplained wails at night, followed by family losses. Coincidence? Suggestion? Or something deeper? Even without scientific proof, the Banshee has become a symbol of impending anguish, a reminder that not every warning comes in words. Some come in the sound of fear itself. In the North Pacific, along the cold inlets of British Columbia, sailors tell of the Cadborosaurus, a long, undulating creature with the head of a horse and the body of a serpent. For decades, it has lived on the border between legend and reality. Sightings date back to the early 1900s. From fishermen to soldiers, many reported seeing a 15 to 50-foot-long animal sliding through the waters like a serpent. At times, its skin shimmered under the sun; at others, its shadow haunted drifting boats. A curious case occurred in 1937 inside the stomach of a dead whale. They found what looked like the body of a Cadborosaurus. The remains were studied by zoologists and then mysteriously vanished. To this day, blurry videos show something writhing in the waves. No definitive proof, yet no convincing explanation either. Expeditions still set out in search of the elusive creature. Perhaps the Cadborosaurus is nothing more than memory, error, and the longing for mystery. Or perhaps it waits, in the icy depths, for the right moment to rise again. In the 1960s, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, people began reporting something strange: a winged figure with eyes glowing like burning coals, watching from the darkness. Thus was born the legend of the Mothman, one of America's most mysterious creatures. It stood nearly 7 feet tall, with wings spreading like those of a dark angel. It flew vertically, chased cars on highways, and hovered over bridges. Its gaze hypnotized and paralyzed those who encountered it. In 1967, a year after the first sightings, the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing dozens. Many connected the tragedy to the Mothman's appearances. Since then, it has been seen as a harbinger of disaster. The town embraced the myth. Today, there is a statue in its honor and even an annual festival. But for those who heard the beating of its wings, it is not just folklore, it is real, terrifying, and could return at any moment. Is it mass hysteria? Or an unnamed phenomenon? Whatever it is, the Mothman continues to haunt the American imagination, and perhaps more than that. In the legends of the Maori people of New Zealand, there are beings that dwell in deep waters and shape the landscape with their strength. They are the Tanawa protectors to some, destroyers to others. With forms resembling dragons, serpents, or giant crocodiles, Tanawa inhabit submerged caves and sacred lakes. Some guard entire tribes, while others attack invaders or disrespectful fishermen. Ancient tales say it was a Tanawa who carved out Wellington Harbor to save his people from drought. Others tell of underwater shadows pulling boats into nothingness, causing disappearances beyond explanation. Even today, coastal communities avoid certain waters out of respect and fear. The sound of moving waters or sinkholes appearing suddenly still fuels belief in their existence. Though science has never recorded a real Tanawa, their symbolic presence endures. They embody the uncontrollable power of nature and the fear of what lurks below the surface. The world is far too vast for us to claim certainty over what is real and what is only legend. Perhaps the creatures of myth are echoes of a forgotten truth, distorted records of ancient encounters, or reflections of our own fears and desires. What hides in the forests, beneath Arctic ice, or in the depths of the oceans may still surprise us. Science advances, but mystery persists. And maybe it is precisely this mystery that makes everything so fascinating. Because as long as there are questions without answers, the impossible can still be discovered. And do you believe any of these creatures truly exist? Tell me in the comments which one intrigued you the most. Have you ever heard a similar story in your region? I read everything, and I love to discover the tales and beliefs that spread across the world. And if this video sparked your curiosity, subscribe now to Creatures Mysteries. Here, every episode is a new journey into the unknown. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next mysteries. Step into the unknown. Discover the impossible. Live the mystery.